This is Jackie Chin, and welcome back to another episode of Zombiepalooza Radio Live. And a few weekends back, I was over at Horror Hotel, the International Film Festival and Convention, in its 15th year. I cannot believe that it has been that long. But I ran into a friend of mine that I haven't seen in a hot minute. His name is Roger Connors. Welcome, Roger, to the show.
I know it's been quite a while since we've been headphone to headphone, Jackie, but I'm back.
Yes, you are. Oh my word! All right, so you have had an interesting background coming up to this film that you had at Horror Hotel this year. For those who really appreciate your work, and for those who don't know anything about you, give us a little background. Give me a little bio on who Roger Connors, the filmmaker, is.
Sure. So I'm having this weird kind of I'm having my midlife crisis right now because I turned 40 this year. Literally, I turned 40 in a week from today that we're recording. And so I realized I've been making indie films since I was 20. I've been now making independent film for half my life. And that's been kind of surreal because I turned 21 on a film set. I grew up making indie film in and around Cleveland. And it's become like a major defining aspect of who I am, and that's, I think, something that people just find to be synonymous with my name at this point. Oh, Roger, he also makes independent film. Like, he's gay and he makes indie film. Like, that's my defining traits. And so, yeah, I mean, it has become a major factor of who I am. I've worked on many an indie film set, and recently I did finally jump in the pool and direct my sophomore effort, which is a film called Meat that luckily was part of the Horror Hotel Film Festival, which I'm very thankful to be able to say that.
I have heard a lot of very good things about this film, and it has given you the ability to be able to expand your talent base and show people who you are as a director and a producer and a writer.
Mm-hmm.
All of that. I love this for you. In the production of Meat, I don't know, out with it. What was the most difficult thing for you to do? Or were there a few things that were difficult that you thought that, if I don't get this done, we ain't going to get a movie?
I think that for me, I've only directed 2 projects, but I've AD'd on many a film. I've worn a lot of hats on many a film set. And so my first film was a significantly smaller scale production. The film is entitled Rebirth. It was a love letter to George Romero. It was a modern kind of take on the blueprint on the structure of Night of the Living Dead, but set in like a modern society, addressing modern social issues, which unfortunately many of those are very similar to the same social issues that were addressed in the original film. But it was made on a very small scale, like an $8,000 budget. I mean, it was small, and it was really me learning how to do it. It was a learning curve. So for me, I knew that I didn't want to do the same microscopic budget production because the restrictions, the restraints are just so significant. And I wanted to make something that felt bigger. I wanted a film that felt glossier and just on a larger scale. And so with Meat, it was definitely a bigger endeavor. It was the crowdfunding. We did 3 crowdfunding campaigns. I would say that was the most exhausting aspect because you're trying to convince people to fall in love with your product without having a product to show them. Our first 2 campaigns, we did not meet our goal. The third campaign, we had already shot a portion of the film. We had something to show for it, and we managed to double our goal. So it was really cool to see what can happen when you do develop a fan base over time and start to really win people over. It was really cool to see people kind of fall in love with the film, but I'll tell you, it was a lot of work. I mean, that's years and years of effort. And to this day, it still hovers over me, all of the work that I put into that. There's still things I have to do. There's still Indiegogo perks that have to go out once the film is actually out on Blu-ray and DVD, and so that's something that I would say was like very intimidating. I would not want to crowdfund again, but it made it possible for me to get my film done.
Yes. So crowdfunding is one of the most difficult things that a filmmaker can do because they never know what is really going to make the thing take off. And you can look at other crowdfunds and go, wow, they really made their goal. Let's take a look, get some insight. But it's not necessarily going to adapt to what you have. The other thing that I've seen through crowdfunding is that people do want to take a bite literally out of what you have. It's got to have a great story. It's got to maybe, I don't know, maybe be somewhere in their own personal environment that they can get to, something that they can relate to. So in that field, did you get anybody that said, I donated because I really liked how you did this?
Oh yeah, I mean, we were lucky to bring on some producers who I think saw the potential and wanted to contribute on a larger scale. So that definitely put some wind in our sails. We had a lot of people come in and support us on a higher price point in general. Um, Meat ended up being over $100,000 production. Originally we budgeted for 30, and yeah, well, that definitely was not the case. It definitely inflated to, like I said, over a six-digit um, uh, price point, and so that was something that we needed some support. But overall, I think it's really just the amount of people that came out, especially once they saw something to show for it. The thing I think that was kind of a saving grace, so it seemed really stressful in the moment, is when we didn't hit our goal with our first two crowdfunding campaigns. We, at least with the structure of Indiegogo at the time, we were able to keep at least what we had raised, and that was still a significant amount. Like, that was still enough for us to film the first 15 minutes of the film, which is a flashback, and so it worked.
Okay.
And it gave us time to kind of say, hey, we're going to use this footage and create a sizzle reel. We're going to have something to show for it. It was really having the footage of the film, so people saw, oh, this isn't just a bunch of people running around in the backwoods with a handy cam. This is a production. There's production value.
Yes.
And so then when we came back and we had the opening of the film shot, and I had encouraged all of my actors to go out and change their looks because there's a 5-year time jump. It gave the film a lot of oomph. It gave it a lot of production value than that alone. And so I think that really gave us something to show off and made the film look very fancy and very sparkly. And I think that's why we were able to lock in with that final campaign.
All right, you gave me a great segue idea. Let's talk about the actors and the people who were hands-on making the production of Meat.
Yeah, I mean, it's a massive cast. I like to go big. That's one thing. Like, I never like to be restricted by the guardrails that are put on with indie film. I try to break free of that and make something that feels bigger, and I think it's just I like a larger scale production. It's also a long movie. It's over 2 hours long. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of amazing talent in the film. Cody Steele stars in the leading role of Noah, which is kind of like the male equivalent of the final girl. This being a queer slasher with a diverse cast of queer characters, I knew I had to do things a little bit differently and really honor the community. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of really unique individuals that kind of personify that community and really brought that flavor to the film because it had to have that energy. The queer community, the LGBTQIA plus community is so diverse. And so I knew I really wanted a very diverse cast, all shapes, sizes, colors, identities in general. And so, yeah, I have a really wonderful cast, and they are, I think, what elevates the film. I mean, it's a really fun movie, but thankfully I have some amazing talent taking that material and making it sound a lot better,
So let's talk talk a little bit about how long it took for you to get this piece put to post-production, go from seed to where we met at Horror Hotel?
Yeah, it was a long, long developmental process. I started writing the script back in like 2016. And I think for me, like I've been working in the film scene for a while at that point, at least 6 years at that point. And I was just, I think, becoming a little disheartened, disenchanted with being a gay man and feeling very limited in the kind of roles that were being presented, because either I was masquerading as a straight character in the roles I was playing, which is always fun. I mean, I'm not, and that's not a negative at all. I love playing straight characters. To be honest, it challenges me. But when I was playing gay characters, they were always very stereotypical, or they were just paper thin. Um, they were secondary. They weren't the focus. Whenever they were part of the story, it was there to kind of, I think, inject kind of the same formulaic DNA over and over. It never felt like it was telling a story that felt authentic to the queer character's life. They always felt, like I said, secondary. They were just there as kind of a garnish, if you will. And so my goal is I just wanted to write a slasher that I felt accurately represented myself and the community I was part of. I love slashers. I love, especially like a revenge slasher. I love seeing people get their comeuppance. And I think the best slashers leave you feeling kind of torn at the end of the movie. Like, oh, it's not just a bad guy that's out there hacking people up. There's more to it. Some of the best slashers do have a heartbeat to them, if you will. And so I really wanted that to be part of this as well. So it took many forms over many years, and it had plot points come and plot points go. I brought Zach Schildwachter in around 2020 to start tightening the script up. Zach is straight, and I said, I've got a really great bloated queer story here. I would love if you could come in as a horror fan and just tell me like what's hitting and what's not. And he helped me really kind of skim some of the fat off, though it is still a very long film, and finalize it. And that's when Meat became what it was when Zach came on board and really helped me kind of tighten that up. And we rolled into production shortly after.
In this creation of this film, because it took as long as it did, were there things about your own personal life that you learned how to either get rid of or to deal with better?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely started writing the script, I think venting a lot of my own feelings and emotions into it. And I think, it took the course of many years for me to finish this concept. And I was on many film sets over that time period. And I think I learned a lot of just how to run a set, and especially how not to run a set. Like, one of the greatest blessings I've had growing up on indie film sets is how to like rough it, how to make something out of nothing. But there's still got to be a certain level of decorum. Like, there has to be a certain aspect of professionalism, even on the most independent film production, because you've got to respect the people around you. And so I think that I knew that with me, I knew by the time I got to this, I had to be skilled enough to run a professional set that I would want to be on as an actor. So I didn't experience the same kind of, multitudes of letdowns and like just overall like unsatisfactory experiences. Because I've been on many green sets where it's like they forgot to have food. They have us working 14-hour days and are acknowledging that many of us are doing this as a hobby and truly have to work the next morning. Like, I wanted to respect people's time and their effort. And so I think that I knew I wanted to come into this looking good and being respectful. And I'm happy I had those bad experiences prior, because it helped me kind of polish my own craft,
I absolutely respect all of that. So you switching screens right now, and if the thing will cooperate with me, I can get this one up here, and then I'm going to go over here. Look at Joe at Horror Hotel. 15 years of Horror Hotel. Pretty remarkable in its own right.
Yeah.
You, my dear friend, you cleaned house with this film. You and your crew. I am absolutely shooketh with how many accolades you received. So what I would like you to do, first I wanted to bring you over here and talk a little bit about Horror Hotel. Talk a little bit about Horror Hotel and what that means to you to be a part of this.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think because Meat is so like loving of Cleveland, like it meant a lot of me. It meant a lot to me to have it be acknowledged locally. Like it is through and through a Cleveland production. You know, it's all shot in Cleveland, aside from one sequence that was shot out in Hocking Hills, which is still Ohio based. But the rest of it is all within like Cleveland Central and Cleveland, the greater Cleveland area. And I really wanted to capture the look and the feel of Cleveland, the grittiness of Cleveland,
Right.
and the diversity of Cleveland. Cleveland's a melting pot.
Yes, it is.
It's a very diverse area in a very conservative state, and so I think that plays into the storyline as well. And the area, the setting, almost becomes a character in and of itself. So to be acknowledged by my local peers is it's so important to me because I've been doing this for so long. Like I've grown up amongst a lot of these people, and I've respected so many of them. I have a lot of admiration for a lot of these individuals who have been doing it as long, if not longer, than I have. Like I remember Johnny Woo was one of the very first names I heard when I decided to like audition for indie film. Like he was working on The Rapture at that time.
Yes.
I remember it so specifically because I remember seeing the trailer. George Tucci, who I've worked with many times since, being so prominent with those big digital wings, and I was like, oh my god, like they're doing something on a bigger scale that I really respect and really appreciate, and they're trying to make something different. And so to now finally have a film of my own, because I act, I mostly act, but to now have a film of my own that I can present and have them appreciate it enough to award it anything means the world to me. I mean, we've had a very successful festival run. Meat has played in now over 20 film festivals internationally, and we still have our final leg of our film festival run to go. There's still more to come, but Horror Hotel has been the only Ohio-based festival, Cleveland-based. I mean, it's so important to me more than anything. I think to be able to show this to local talent and say, I made this with Cleveland in mind and in my heart, because I love Cleveland. I'm such a diehard Cleveland supporter. I heart Cleveland.
216, baby, yes!
And I'm so proud of it. Yeah, so it meant the world to me. It truly did, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Let's talk about the awards and the accolades.
Okay.
I know. Look at you. Yes.
Yeah. I'm jazzed. Like, first of all, let's talk about this.
Yes, let's talk about this. I have a photo. I have one photo where I took of the awards that they handed out, and I was like, that is something I would love to have on my trophy case. Hell yeah! You got how many? How many?
Five. Well, so the overall the awards only went out to like there's like the Best of Fest awards, and that's what got this lovely Ohio shaped physical award. We won 5 awards overall. So we got best actor for Cody Steele. We got best director for myself. We got best We got second place for best slasher. We got first for best LGBTQ horror film, and then we won best Ohio film. Which I
And
mean, like that's a big one. So I was shocked. I was so happy. I even got a special. If you look, like these awards are slightly different. Best Ohio film is this one, and it's a little more. See
oh,
what I'm saying? It's a little
I didn't know that they
fancier.
were different. I didn't know that they were.
know.
I didn't know that.
They are. They are. I
That's
felt so fancy winning this
fabulous.
award. Thank you.
This man and his crew put together some amazing what do we want to call it? The advertisements and the graphics that they had there, they were done, I believe, the graphics were done by a company called LPI.
Mhm.
And I don't know who made the physical awards. I have no idea. Is there anything on the back of that?
No, I mean I don't know. Truly they're really impressive.
I need to
I've
find
won a
out.
few awards from different festivals, and these are genuinely among some of my favorite because they're just so like unique. And anyone I've showed them to has been like, "Oh my god!" So they're definitely killing it
Right.
with the physical awards.
They are definitely doing that. Would you like to give a shout out to Horror Hotel as a whole?
Oh my god, yeah. I think Horror Hotel is really just at the start of a brand new chapter. Like you said, it's 15 years in. I've attended multiple horror hotels in the past. They're currently under new ownership as of I think it was last year or the year prior.
Right.
But overall, like they've been kind of finding their footing as a new entity, and it's really clear that it started to gel because they have a wonderful team running it, and they really know what they want out of it. Pauline is very involved. I know you know.
I love her.
And if there's one person I trust in running an event or just having like a vision and bringing it to fruition, it's Pauline, and of course Johnny and the rest of their team are just so dedicated. Like these are indie filmmakers. These aren't just a bunch of random individuals who are like, let's throw a festival and try to get money out of these people. Like, no, these are filmmakers who are making an event for filmmakers, and they're making an event that is Cleveland focused while also making it international. Like there were films from all around the world. I met a lovely girl from, I believe it was Taiwan, who was a composer, who was in Ohio for the show. Like, it was just so cool seeing people show up for Cleveland, because I really think that Horror Hotel shows up for Cleveland year after year. And it really impressed me. So I would love to be involved in some capacity just to support them because I think they're great people doing something that's very special.
We've talked about a lot of different subjects, and you have a lot of different kinds of things to cover. Is there anything I haven't asked you that you would like to let the public know, and or anything about anything that you're going to be doing with Meet? I know that you said that you're still in film festival. So how about name some of the film festivals that are not that long out?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, I mean, Meet has had a really wonderful run. We just played overseas at Gasp, which is a queer horror film festival in the UK, so that was really awesome. I'm in a really cool place because I have a bunch of projects I worked on that are like hitting the film festival circuit at the same time. So I'm also in a film called Until You're Alone. That's going to be debuting at Houston Horror Film Festival, which is a festival I'm closely associated with. So I have a lot of really awesome things to celebrate right now. We just found out that we're going to be playing at a really cool festival, but I can't announce it till the end of July. So just know that like Meet has like a really awesome, I would say, final chapter for its film festival run, and I love that it's not lost steam. We're playing at Days of the Dead the weekend of my birthday. I will be in Spain, but but it's playing at Days of the Dead in Indianapolis, and my wonderful director of photography and cinematographer Michael Coons, Mick is what we call him lovingly. Mick will be there representing the film, and we've already been nominated for 5 awards, and they're only halfway through their like award nominations. So I'm hoping that we have a similar experience, though I would never expect it. Similar experience to Horror Hotel, but yeah, I mean, Meat has been such a glorious ride, and I'm so proud of it. We recently lost our sound designer, Michael Klobecker. I want to take a moment to acknowledge him because he was so wonderful, and he was over in Germany, and it kind of carries this element of sadness with the film because we're still like finalizing it. Like for distribution, there's certain things that we have to do that the film festival run was really like our director's cut, and Michael died in the middle of all of it, so we've kind of been like in limbo, figuring out our final steps for distro. But whatever it will be with him in mind and in our hearts, because he was a really wonderful guy, and I get really sad every time I talk about it because I talked to him every single day for multiple years, and he was so excited for the movie. So I just want to shout him out, acknowledge him, and send love over to Germany where his family is mourning his loss. But it's left us in a unique place where we're kind of figuring out our final steps with distribution, but having had a really great film festival run, at least it puts us in a place where we have options. So hopefully we have good news soon. Hopefully.
My respects to your friend, and my respects to you, because you sir are a class act. You are fabulous, and I look forward to seeing more of your work in the coming years. This has been another episode of Zombiepalooza Radio Live. Thank you for watching. See you again.